We're just gonna fly around for a little bit and watch Star Citizen live, and just kind of possibly react to it, I suppose. And yeah, see what's up. A simple stream right now. Let me fix that.
I'm gonna head your way, Marathon Restless.
You what?
I'm headed your way. I'm gonna head to Port Tressler.
To
Or do
Tressler?
you want to
Okay.
meet? Yeah, I was like, either that or do you want to meet somewhere else?
No, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna cruise around Babbage and Microtech and watch this. All right, let's see here.
Provocative. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live. Star Citizen Live. Did you know that I have two different shows? One is called Inside Star Citizen, sometimes abbreviated as ISC, and it is pre-recorded and goes on Thursdays. Other times I have Star Citizen Live, abbreviated as SCL, and it goes on Fridays. ISC is where we
Can you hear
pre-record,
it,
we interview a whole
Grim?
bunch of people, and we cut them together. We
I
make
know.
them,
On my screen,
we
it
make them
hasn't even
sound
started.
professional sometimes.
You can't hear it.
And put a bunch of gorgeous B-roll and stuff like that, and
No, it's
put that out, and it's about the development of the game.
Can't hear it. Why do I have an ad? Turn ads off. Hang on. It turned ads on my stream. Let me
because I turned your stream volume off.
turn these ads off. It popped ads, snuck ads back in on me. Get rid of that while we rotate. Let me check the Discord window. Here, I got you here. Better? You can see it?
I can see it. Awesome.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
SCL is where we sit here and
Do you want to turn it up a little bit?
I don't know. Every single week I seem to forget what I'm doing. They're two different shows.
Might have to turn it up on your end. I'm not gonna blast my audience.
You're good. You're good.
Can you turn it up over on your end?
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn you guys down. I'll be good.
Sometimes me forgetting which one I'm doing at the very beginning, and a host of Spectrum and Reddit comments that continuously invert them, and it drives me crazy. Joining us on the show this week, a special treat, a short abbreviated show, won't be as long as normal. I know I said that a couple weeks ago. This is real because this guy's super important. He's got places to be. Is a Chief Technology Officer of CIG, Benoit.
Oh, you're not gonna try the last name, aren't you?
No,
Good try.
Beausejour. No. I stumbled on your first name. It's just
Okay.
like we used to do this thing like it used to be the oldest trope of SEO. We'd get somebody on the hot seat and they'd forget their own name. I don't think I've ever forgotten my own name.
What is it that I do here again?
What is it that you do here?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell people?
Sure. So I'm the Chief Technology Officer for CIG. So I'm basically representing all the engineers at Turbulent, yes, but also at CIG at this point. So everybody that's even closely remotely doing engineering, I basically care for, make sure they have what they need to succeed, orient the work, get the amazing task of calling priorities, and basically helping people make sure that they win at their jobs and that they deliver on what the game needs.
So
That's my job.
that just sounds like everything is your fault.
Good. Yes. In a way, it's my fault. Sure. There's always a way up to my fault.
All right. So Benoit has agreed to be on the show this week again for an abbreviated show, so we can. We're in an interesting point in our development, technology-wise. Server meshing is on the horizon. We attempted to get a huge tech preview going last night, but there were some network issues, as I understand it.
I didn't see it.
324 just went out, so it's an interesting moment in our technology history, so we thought we'd bring him on and answer your questions. So as normal, we put a thread up on Spectrum. We asked you to submit your questions to Benoit. Most of them were about things like, where's my spaceship? or what can you tell me about this feature and whatnot. That's not specifically what we're here to talk about Benoit with. Talk about with Benoit.
about,
Jeez.
I don't know.
Did you know that I'm not sleeping well? So we collected your questions. We went through and we chose the ones that are appropriate, and we're going to go through them now. So the first question I have, Benoit, is simply we've recently released Alpha 3.24. How'd that go?
Well, it's an interesting patch. Let's just say that. So 24 has
That's a way to put
lot
it.
of new uses to
Do what?
some very large systems.
I
Right?
said that's a way to put it.
Yeah.
Some
the
foundational
release of the
systems.
patch, foundational systems, yes, systems that have been in the game for a long, long time.
Getting their first update.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's been a bit of a rocky release, simply because there are some issues that happens when more players are present that affect core flow of the game. Right? So anything that affects you retrieving a ship or leaving the hangar or things like that are instantly high priority. Some of them work well, on internal builds, and then when we get real players on it, there's always something new. In this case, for 24, there's a lot of issues that happen related to cargo elevators, freight elevators, the new hangars, and that flow. And so we've been hotfixing quite a bit, figuring out what was going on. Some missions didn't work for the same kind of reason, and so we've been kind of analyzing
You
data and hotfixing.
You won't even say the name ATC.
Well, yeah. So let's just say that like I said, there are some systems in the game that are complicated, right? That date back to a very long time.
All right. That's right,
And
Benoit.
ATC is at the core of it, right? It's one of
Sorry.
them.
Show me on the doll where ATC touched you.
Oh my god, all over. But and so yeah, ATC, transit, are systems that there any issues with these systems are debilitating instantly, and so it's not a case of if it works 60% of the time, it works every time. It's a case of if it doesn't work 1% of the time, then it's very high priority to find a fix. So we've hotfixed a lot of stuff in the last couple of days. There's more coming from the gameplay teams, obviously. Some changes to how we deal with obstructions in the hangars are coming as well, which is has been one of the most problematic issues. Like the checks on that side were a lot too, I like to say, hardcore, which would cause a lot of side effects and cause some hangars to break. So we're in the process now of changing all of that stuff to release a little bit the hold that the ATC has over cleanup and how it prevents some stowing. So there's already a bunch of hotfixes that went live for that. So hopefully that will alleviate a lot of the issues people have been running into with hangars specifically. But otherwise, 24 is a super interesting patch for a lot of reasons. Also because we've introduced new metrics to Star Engine that have launched in 24. So we have now a lot more information about the state of the game servers and how they perform. So we've instrumented a lot of things in the engine. And to be clear, we've had metrics before. This is more about long-term metrics that we track over a long period of time. So that allows us to really correlate important events, right? Like an area streaming in causing problems, certain game components costing us, frame time in certain areas. And so I like to say that these new metrics are like if optimizing the game is like a large cornfield, the tools that we used to have to do this were very optimized, very great microscopes, right? But now with these new metrics, we have a radar that tells us exactly where to look for and drill down. And so I'm hopeful that with 24, we already got a couple of reveals, just seeing the live release roll out with these metrics. And so I'm hopeful that's going to bring forward a lot more improvements.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited about it.
It's one of those things. where it's hard to see it now, but so much of what we're building towards with the way that freight elevators play into pyro and yeah, stuff that you're going to see at CitizenCon later this year, next month, 6 weeks, are all based on stuff that's in 324. It's I understand it's rough now and stuff, but it is a foundational patch that will be built upon and will bear fruit in future releases.
I hope so.
Yeah. One of the things that maybe I don't know if I don't know if we've communicated this way. I mean, Chad probably did outline this in one of the Insides Our Citizen, but is
Why being buggy?
the tech behind the way the hangars function is actually it's an instance interior, right? Which this is the first use we have of the instance interior system, but you can imagine what we'll be able to do with that technology moving forward. I know that some of you guys have encountered ghost sounds when you go in your hangar, like you can hear other stuff from other. That's because in reality, the hangars are superposed
I already
on
knew
top
this.
of each other and instanced in place.
Yeah,
so
you
when you
can't
go to
park
your
this in
hangar,
here, by the
there's
way.
some. I'll just qualify it as black magic rendering culling that happens. That you're basically in your hangar. That's what you see, right? Now there's a bug with audio.
Oh, I
that's
was
why
talking about the fact that
you've heard some
the hangars being
audio
overlapped.
from the other.
So I was like, I already knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, being spawned basically in someone else's hangar. I've seen that.
Interiors, but the reality is these hangars are actually
he's talking about overlap
on top of each other.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what I mean.
The same space.
Spawn in the same instance, but you don't see each other, and you hear it though. Right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about it, it's a bit weird. And then when you request your ATC gateway, that's when
Yeah,
your
this ain't
actual
fitting.
instance is moved into place, so you can exit and enter. And so that tech will be able to use that with throughout the universe, for a lot more things for instancing interiors, which is super key for a lot of the gameplay we're trying to do.
All right, so we are 10 minutes or 1/3 through our scheduled program, and we've got one question down. So I'm going to skip. You tell me when we get to that 30-minute if you can stay later or whatnot. But I'm gonna skip to some of the more pertinent questions here to make sure we get them in. Server meshing. So we had a series of tech previews earlier this year. We were supposed to start one up last night UK time. We're hopeful to start one up again today. A lot of folks are. I'm gonna combine 3 questions here and get a broad thing here. What are we testing for now? Why has the gap been so long between tech preview tests for this? And is this really working as well as we hope?
Yeah. So the gap, I'll start with the gap, right? So later in the spring, end of spring, we did a couple of good tests that gave us a lot of good data, right? So what we've been trying to do on the meshing side is be a bit more pragmatic and methodical in how we approach the development. And so these tests really gave us a lot of data, right? Because of the way we conducted them, we were able to try different mesh configurations, look at performance, specifically on the hybrid, which is the replication layer of service, and to really be able to hone in on what we need to improve in order to get the scale that we want. And so what came out of these tests in the spring was that there was already things that were touching on the performance of the hybrid and the game server communications that needed improvement. And so this is what we call the components called the NMQ, the network message queue. Now that's there's a lot of chatter online about, there's a replacement thing and it's called, is it Rabbit MQ, whatever. No, so we're not even in that realm. We're talking about really the networking component that transmits data between game server and client, game server and hybrid and game servers. It's like this, think of it as the communication library underneath it. So like all games, that technology is using UDP transport to get, eventually consistent updates out. as fast as possible. Now, the network message queue had a couple of issues when it got a lot of data in a very short period of time. So these spikes would cause, and that's what we saw in the final server meshing tech previews, was that when large areas would stream in and a lot of players would join in and leave at the same time, the network message queue could go into a tailspin where, think of it as a drain, right? And you're trying to push stuff in the drain. And at some point, if you exceed the bandwidth of the drain, then water starts filling up. Now, the way that manifests itself in the game is interaction delays. So, pressing F, trying to get in a ship, and it takes seconds before the system reacts. Powering on a ship takes forever. Now I'm not talking about the one-offs, because you can have interaction delay in your game based on your connection. That can absolutely happen. So it's influenced by your machine, your connection. So if you're playing on a 486 without the turbo button on a satellite connection, you might get interaction delay, right? But in this case, we're talking about widespread, like when an entire shard gets into that state, right? So that's what we saw in the tech preview. And so that we had to go a little bit back on the drawing board and actually fast track one of the refactors we wanted to do, which is the introduction of a replacement message queue. Now, we call it replication message queue, replacement message queue, kind of, we've basically called it RMQ. And so this
That's
RMQ
what that was.
is a
That's
new
what I asked
implementation
earlier.
of this that is
About what?
has more
RMQ, what it
abilities to
meant.
adapt to higher bandwidth
Okay.
and react to these large message pushes
let
that
me in your
happen
ship.
when we start streaming large areas, or when
I'm
a lot
on
of
my way
players are
out to
coming
it.
in and out of the game rapidly. And so what we're testing now is RMQ in a server mesh setting. So for you guys who don't know, 324, half of the servers on live currently run RMQ. The other ones are running NMQ still. We've been gathering data across both of them to see the
Interesting.
performance improvements, the gains. So far, those have been really good, a lot of really good improvements. And so now we want to test this in a server mesh setting. So what changes in a server mesh setting is that now the hybrid is going to manage more than one game
Don't you be lagging on me.
server that simulate these key areas. And so there's more traffic going through the hybrid for this at key moments. And so that's what we want to test with this next set of tech previews. So what our hope is that the issues that plagued the 800 players last time, where there was a lot of interaction delays, right? Also, some of those tests had a lot of game server crashes at the time that we did the test. But in this case, we're hopeful that all these interactions delays will be, basically gone from this bandwidth side of it. So that means we can get to bigger shards, and the experience is going to be enjoyable across that. The thing that actually did work really well in our spring test was the actual server meshing tech itself. So authority transfer, management of territories, all that stuff was fantastic, a really big success. But we did need to take a little bit of a sideways step to optimize the RMQ, which is now done, and also getting mission tested right now by you guys on 324.
So that'll be new information to people who, at this moment here, that one half of the 324 servers are running on
I knew about
NMQ
that.
and one half are running on RMQ. Has there been a noticeable performance difference?
Yes. Overall, like so we
I
track,
was gonna say
some
yes.
of these interaction delays, and you'll see this is a common theme that I've been pushing quite a bit, is that we need to measure a bit more of these things. And so on the long interaction, we've been looking a lot at the amount of events, duration of these events, which players get them. And so we're able to see a noticeable improvement on that side. There are still, some interaction lag happening, but they're not systemic anymore.
It's those other causes that you
correct.
mentioned. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
That's cool. The thing that's also nice about this is that we have the ability, you probably noticed, especially with 24, that we have a new set of ways to deploy and canary technology on live to mission test it. So not only are we doing tech previews when it's necessary, but we also are throwing tests. So sometimes you might end up on a server that's running something new and you don't even know about it, but we know about it because we're looking at all these metrics to make sure that the new tech works as expected. And if it doesn't, we can backtrack, stop the canary, things like that. So we've been doing a lot of that in the last, for the entire 24 cycle.
I want to ask a follow-up question. I feel like I have to here. If there are people that are just, we all know that every version of Star Citizen is a test bed. Even the full live alpha that's what alpha means. It's a test bed.
Sure.
Evocati, PTU, live, tech preview, whatever you call it, they're all some level of test bed.
Yep.
There are people that are just trying to log in and play right now. And some of those people are going, it sounds like some of those people are going to 324 with RMQ and having a better experience than some of those people are logging in through no fault of their own, are going to NMQ servers and having a degraded. Do we have a timetable for when we just switch all of them over to RMQ so we stop?
Now the interesting
using
thing
for guinea
is
pigs?
that currently for the servers running NMQ, we're not seeing heightened interaction delays, right? I guess just comparatively between them. We do want to keep going at it, so we're being prudent, right? So we started with a couple of shards, then we moved on to a quarter, then to a half, right? And so as this is more stable, it's very possible that within the release of the next couple patches, all servers will be running RMQ. I mean, at this point, there's not much stopping that from happening. It's just
Okay, that's good.
prudence to make sure that there's no new issues that would come on.
Right.
It's like if you replace the netcode for an entire game, right? Like there might be side effects, and then the typical
Exactly. Okay.
invisible player, new crash on whatever, bad handling of slow connections,
It's responsible not to just switch everybody over.
Exactly.
Okay.
So NMQ does work well. We know where it falls down and at what moment. We can also identify the shards that do run into this. There was a bit in 23 of an accumulation in certain areas that we noticed shards that were a lot older had this accumulated data. And it's not persistence data necessarily, but it's based on the state of the world, where it would transmit more data, and that would cause some more a heightened state of interaction delay. And so that really clued us in a bit more that our plan to do the RMQ was the right one.
Okay. 2/3 of the
But
way.
our goal is to roll it out to everybody as soon as we can. That's for sure.
Okay.
All right. So again, I'm going to the big ticket ones because now we're 2/3 of the way through. Desync.
Yeah.
What the?
Well, completely related.
Good question.
I mean, not completely related. That's not true. That's not fair. So,
Good one-word
the
question.
network transmission
Right.
layer, right? Game server, game client does interpolation, right? So as your ships or your actions move, your actor, so your character, and your ship, when you're actually piloting a ship, the client does interpolation about your movements. So it's trying to predict what the server will say, and then the server comes in and says, "Yep, that's what it is," and that comes from the network queue, right? So obviously, when we have congestion on the network, it's going to cause some of this, but it's also server FPS, of course, has a very large effect on this, right? And so desyncs are a combination of factors, right? That when you see a desync, it's could be because the server is simulating a piece and he's back in time a little bit, so he's skipping time steps. Well, he's not skipping time steps. It's not the right way to do it. I'm trying to make it simple so we don't go too deep into the weeds, but think about it this way. If the server is not running at a very decent frame rate, then when those frame rates dip, the effect will be some kind of level of desync for certain kinds of items. And so with the RMQ, we're hitting on the stuff that's related to the network transmission. That will help definitely. And with the new metrics in 24, that helps us to really hone in on what is the cause of the cost over time on frame time. Where is our frame weight? What resources are being used? What resources are being allocated? So the thing that might not be clear when you look at the game, but so the Star Engine is really good at streaming stuff in dynamically and streaming it out dynamically. That's the key feature of the engine. But that also has a certain level of cost. So depending on what players are doing in the game, the servers might be doing just fine. right? Certain areas are just super easy, but then other areas stream in, and then they become problematic. And so that's what we're looking at with those metrics, is to see what areas and what entities in those areas are costing us the most, so that we can optimize the things that really affect those desyncs in that gameplay, literally. So right now, the improvements we're getting there is several engine fixes, or optimizations, I should say. And then the network queue replacement is going to help on these things quite a bit.
Okay. So
That's good.
like we've said a couple of times, this has been the truth for as long as I've been here, for 10 years, as far as messaging whites. A bug doesn't always have just one cause. Sometimes the manifested effect can actually be caused by several things, and that's what makes bug smashing so hard. Is you end up finding this cause, and then it still happens. This also causes it, and then it happens half the time, and then you find something else. This also causes it. The same goes for desync performance and stuff like this. Sometimes it's this that causes it. Sometimes it's that.
Sometimes it's like, I can speak to one bug. I know you guys like bug smashing, but for example, at the launch of 24, we start getting reports that the original intro cargo missions were no longer functional. And so at first, shock, like, what's going on? It's not like we haven't tested this flow at all. We've been running on PTU for a while, plus internal testing. So what's going on? So we start looking into it. And so, long story short, obviously you need to discover things one by one. But long story short, a lot of players on live compared to PTU will abandon missions, go offline during missions, cancel missions, and so the cancellation
Get
flow
kicked
of the
during missions
would leave the cargo boxes in these inventories that we use for the missions that are shared. And so these would accumulate all these cancellations, and it weren't being properly destroyed. And so at some point, these inventories reached a point, I think it was per location, if I remember right, but that there's so much standby cargo boxes waiting there that your box is further down the data set. So that code didn't assume that we'd have that much in those inventories. It was never meant to have that many items. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of boxes. And so at that point, you would not find your boxes, and so you couldn't start your mission because those boxes were way further down. And this was completely based on accumulation of cancellations of players abandoning missions when they're on them, or things like that.
That's a fantastic example of something that doesn't happen in PTU that does happen in live, because in PTU everybody's focus is on testing the mission. So everybody accepts a mission, and the majority of people play through the mission because they're trying to complete it, because that's the test.
Correct.
And then you get to live and you get a completely different behavior. So it's one of the reasons it's when people ask often, why did you push it to live and stuff like that? It's because many times, this is just one example, that's the only way we find the outliers, the big ticket things.
And I mean, shipping patches too is complicating the development in general. So like, I call it the cost of shipping, but developing, right, is good. But when we give you guys a patch to test, and we give you guys a patch to play, that's where a lot of new issues are discovered for the size of games that we have. Even PTU, like you mentioned, like people recopy, they have a behavior that's, it's not their normal behavior. It doesn't go through progression. They're not cutting in the middle of it. It's a lot different. And so shipping these patches, the cost of shipping is enormous. But it is very rewarding in that we then harden, in the first couple of days, like I mentioned, 24, like, was just scramble we need to fix this immediately. And so a lot of, kudos to the teams that were pushing hard to get those hot fixes out. But that's basically I think shipping these patches like requires an enormous amount of energy, right? And it's absolutely worth it. But it's where, pushing it over the hump, at some point you need to make a call, right? Because the longer a patch stays in this limbo of like, we're almost there, and are we going to discover something else at some point? With the model that we have with our game being alpha, we have to move it over the hump. get those last issues sorted out so we can continue development. Because internally, like it's like a bunch of freight trains, right? Like we got this stream of development, this stream of development. This release is holding the rest of the developments. At some point, we no longer have a choice. We do have to move forward.
Okay,
Last
makes
question
sense.
about performance and stuff. We talked desync performance, like the different causes. Server frame rates are one of the obvious things that players can often see. They can turn on the.
We also share that information.
Yeah.
Like we report it to clients so you can see it with our display.
Yeah. So one of the biggest offenders of server frame rate is also the reason why in 324, when you put something on your when you put your gun on your table or something on the table, it starts bouncing and flopping around and driving everybody crazy. Physics.
Sure.
How do we get the server frame rate up? Is it just refining physics? Is it buying bigger servers or better servers and just increasing the cost of running the game to an unmanageable thing? Does server meshing distribute the load across it well, and then that'll get us higher frame rates? How do we get server frame rate up?
Well, so you're right. Like our game servers do perform a lot of physics calculations and a lot of physics simulation. That's the nature of the game, right? Thrusters, ship simulation. Like we track so many types of geometries in the physics engine. It's crazy. Like we have a really great physics framework in the engine. For sure, like the most immediate gain there is server meshing for sure. Like we've seen in our playtest significant frame rate increase across the board for areas because you have less physical entities, right? In general, so that means less geometry, less allocations, less simulation. Think of the server frame rate as a bunch of phases, right? And the engine is extremely well multi-threaded, meaning that we can do a lot of things in parallel. But the challenge there is always determining what we can do in parallel that doesn't have impact with other things. So what can we actually simulate that doesn't depend on anything else? And so that's true of entities. So when we do an entity pass or what we call an ECUS update, so that's every frame. And it's true of physics, and it's true of networking. So all these phases at some point need to wait at the end of a frame for everybody to be completed before it moves on. And so obviously this is all bound on entity count and also physical entity count. So server meshing from the top is going to reduce that count by a lot because you have way less areas to simulate. So less entities to simulate means that the overall wait time across the frame will be better. And so that's the first gain for sure, right? And then we can control that granularity as our meshing technology moves up. We can control the zones, the size of the zones that we want to simulate. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have an area that's filled with something and that is going to have a high, either network or engine cost or physics time cost.
Oh yeah, because
What? Did you pause?
When we increase the player counts to 800, all 800 are going to go and cram themselves into the same 890 jump.
Of course. And so that's a bit why you're going to see some jitters, especially with cargo.
As we're flying an 890.
On the gameplay side, we're putting a bit more of the physics
I would never,
right, because we're using them to move, with tractor beams, moving boxes, things like that. And so, of course, we're looking at improvements, but the first one, metrics has actually already given us quite a bit of very interesting things to look at, and so I'm very hopeful, that the radar I was talking about there is going to allow us to find even more optimizations there that we can do. There's always optimizations, guys. By the way, it's always a thing. But server meshing will definitely help quite a bit. We've seen that in the last test. Like even with the very large shards, servers were running on average a much higher frame rate than our current game shards. So I'm really hopeful for those gains, because that's going to be a game changer for the game. Like
I said it was really exciting to hear that the servers are going to be doing better.
Yeah,
With
that's
meshing.
huge. Yeah, of course they would with meshing. That was never a doubt.
And what they said made sense, I think, of
Mm-hmm.
that the server not holding all of Stanton together under one umbrella
Yeah,
will help.
yeah, absolutely.
I absolutely agree. We're going to see 800 people try to cram into this.
Oh, that will
It-
happen absolutely too. Yeah.
Maybe not 800 people, but at least
No.
100 people are going to try to
No.
cram themselves into the
800.
890.
You know what a community eat nothing. Look, when a community wants to get something done, right? They do it. Hell, think about this, right? Think about when the terror jump point and a maintenance jump point and a pyro jump point was added before they were in the patch notes officially. Do you remember what happened, Grim?
I wasn't really around for that.
Okay. The whole PTU community, it seems, right? Try to work together to piggyback off each other to get to the jump points manually. Like we had a team, like a 50-player party, in like a moment. Just try to immediately connect and make exploration teams to get to the jump point stations. You know,
Yeah.
I think we had over 100 people eventually. Like,
That's cool.
if the community has a goal that you're passionate enough about, hell or high water, they will get there.
Yeah, that's true. And even just because they said this, I think you will see people.
And that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think people would just take it as a challenge and try to do it.
Yep. The fact that I guarantee you now when they do a tech preview, or whatever they do, whether that's each 100 player tech preview tests, right? One of them, the whole server will say 890 party, and you'll see it happen.
I would like to just put an aside in here really fast. Restless, that's wild what you just did.
Thank you.
What you're not seeing right now is Restless and I are flying around in an 890 in the heck is the name of the town?
Babbage.
Microtech in Babbage, thank you. We're flying around at Babbage and we're landing in fun and weird places, and he managed to somehow fit an 890 between two buildings in a perfect fit between 4 lampposts.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you heard this yesterday from ISC, and that is cool. That is cool. Take the photo of that.
Of where we're
But
landed.
it seems,
All right.
yeah, why not? But it sounds like the new MFDs for the ships, right? Will be coming for 3.24.x patch 2.
Really?
Which, yeah. Jared said basically next week for ISC, right? They'll be showing they'll be showing the Zeus, right? There'll be the Zeus episode.
Mhm.
Which is kind of surprising. I thought they would do it together with the CL in a few weeks. Since the CL's not really fully done yet, but Zeus episode. So maybe the Zeus is in 3.4.1 next week. Who knows? And they do release
Be
the
nice.
CL a few weeks later. Yeah. I find it kind of weird, but hell, I'm excited for my ship. So if they give it to me like 3 weeks early, I ain't gonna bitch.
Word.
I'll be happy. And from my understanding to the ES, there's no reason besides personal, just deciding not to, that they can't just throw the ES into the build. Because it should be done. The only reason not to is we want to release both of the two first use variants together
Mm-hmm.
as a marketing thing. You know, that the only reason, there'd be no technical reason I would imagine is use ES cannot come. Really, unless I
Mhm.
guess if the MFDs, if that's holding it back
Yeah.
a tiny bit, then that's not fully done either till a few weeks.
Restless's head to the nose will go up in the ship elevator.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna finish this episode
Uh,
here in a second, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's finish the episode and then we can
Yeah,
we can
then we can
wander
talk about
around here.
that. Yeah.
Looks really interesting.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Someone said something. Oh,
right.
Obviously,
I
performance
know.
for the game. You know, if we gain, 1 millisecond on frame time, that's 1 millisecond directly to your gameplay. Right? So for sure, like server optimization for Star Citizen is at the top of my mind when I synchronize with game teams.
All right, so
Teams.
server meshing, optimization, obviously, and when I mentioned physics, that's not me throwing the physics team under the bus. That's me, as Benoit said,
Seeing it.
recognizing how much physics simulation we do in our universe. Is there anything else we can do? Just optimize and distribute the load across multiple servers?
Correct. There's also obviously content optimization. So, like you mentioned, there's always more than one cause, right? So optimization is, when we talk about optimization, because you mentioned one thing in your question, which was, oh, do we just get bigger servers, right? There's a limit to that.
Yeah.
A limit that we've, I don't want to say we've reached it. We're not there yet, but there's still a server size that makes sense, right? In terms of cost per player and operations in general, right? Of something that makes sense. And so when you do optimizations, right, you need to have a box to fit in, right? So if you're saying our budget frame is X amount of milliseconds, well, then you need to optimize towards that, and you need to touch on everything. It's never just one cause or one thing. And so obviously how you multi-thread, how you parallelize the work across every phase, so that touches on every team. But then there's content as well, right? Like a good example is the first time we put cargo boxes in the game. I forget which patch at this point. I'm a bit losing track, but the actual one SCU box was composed of like 30
Yes.
some entities, which was
Yes.
like, it looked really good.
Oh, it
Right.
was such a dumb box.
But when we looked at it with the scope, it's like, okay, yeah, no, we can't do that. And so
Yeah.
content optimization is the other pass of this, right? Which is reduce the entity counts, try to be smarter about, how we construct objects, object containers. Streaming is also one, how we streaming things. So the other area of battle on the server optimization front is once you have server frame rate, so you have entities loaded, you're simulating them every frame. That's one area to optimize. The next one is putting stuff in and out of that simulation. So streaming data in, streaming data out. And so there's these phases that every entity and game component go through. And those are, these components are written by game developers and they do different things.
Right.
We have, I think, over 1,000 game components. They're not all active, but registered, roughly 1,000 different game components. And so each one of those have 7 phases they go through in their life cycle. 2 of them are really important. They call it register and unregister. And so this is when a game component that's attached to an entity. So entities have components, and entities getting loaded, we need to run the phases on the components. So that those components, when they register, that's where they do, I'm a security component. I need to register with the security system and let know of the AIs in the area, what's going on, and things like that.
Yeah. No,
Those happen when a spawn batch appears. And so what people refer to as the spawn queues is when the server needs to spawn things, right? That is a queue that is basically processing these phases to put the entities into the engine for simulation. And so that's the other area of battles, optimizing these phases so that the spawn is faster and is sharper. And despawning is the same, right? So you finish a mission, you leave it away, we stream out, we need to get this out, right? And so that's the other area of optimization and battle that also has an effect on gameplay that we're really diving into with these new metrics.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up the content optimization in addition to feature and service optimization. One of the recurring criticisms, sometimes valid and we deserve it and sometimes not, is how often we rework a thing. There's been 3 or 4 versions of the Freelancer, for instance, and there's a really good reason for that one. But and that's
Has there been
because
that
we
many of the
discover
Freelancer?
inefficiencies in the way it was built the first time, sometimes because of fault, sometimes because there just wasn't a better way to make it then, and there is now. and stuff. So revisiting that, reworking that allows us to make it more efficient. The freelancer famously, gosh, if old time backers will remember, and I've told this story before, but if you've heard it, I'm sorry. There was the second version of the freelancer had 200 rivets, little rivets that went around the panel lines, and the artist who built it for us, it was a third party client at that time because it was still early days. Sure. They copied the rivet from the concept model instead of I don't want to spend time remaking a rivet, and then just copied and pasted a concept rivet over the entire ship 200 times. And so a single freelancer now had a greater resource cost than the entire Idris in Squadron 42.
That's wild.
And folks, for the old hangar module days, will remember if you owned all 4 freelancers and you loaded that up when they got remade, your hangar module was a slideshow.
That was it.
And stuff like that.
I remember also there was a thing with the original Cutlass Black.
Yeah.
First Cutlass, that if it would be in your frustum view, that was it. Like that thing was like, I don't know how many polygons it was. It was a crazy
Wild West
originally. But
it
content
is.
optimization is a big part of this, right? And it's also the hardest because the universe is very large, right? So when we talk about content optimization,
absolutely,
blocks as an example, but we're talking about harvestable asteroids, plants, AI characters, your character, like everything, right, needs to be looked at under the scope to go like, is it under the entity budget? Is it, draw calls? Because the client performance is also important, right? Like we're talking about server stuff now, but your client also needs to render that stuff, right? So content optimization is a super big part of this that we have to get a lot better at in general. Because our approach is always to make things look right, and they do look right? But then we schedule time to optimize it. But sometimes, we have to, because of the nature of our development, we have to put it in one patch and then optimize it in the next one. And so
be nice to me.
That does cause some frame drops at some points, but
we constantly make improvements to our level of detail system and stuff like that. We are over by 10 minutes, and I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm gonna keep you for 2 more questions.
All right.
And I'm gonna say this while you're live, so you can't say no without looking like a dick.
That's okay.
Okay. Obviously, Turbulent got their start with the project, building the platform, building the website.
Yeah.
Let's see how I want to phrase this. This isn't a question.
Let me get back to the ship.
This is my question. I've got to.
Okay.
Just free ball it.
You're on the hot seat.
Hey, come on. I'm ready.
One of the many annoying things that exist, one of the most annoying for me and for many people, is that these items that they've pledged for, these smaller items that they get on the website that are rewarded from events, well, like that, they get lost, they fall through the cracks, they disappear into the unknown through no fault of people's own, and there's no way to easily recover that in the verse. We've been talking about this idea of pledge item recovery for a while now.
I want to hear this.
It was actually last November when we first really started to talk about it. It did not arrive in 324 like we and a lot of folks hoped. Is there anything you can tell us? Give us some hope.
Well,
is this? Will it come out tomorrow, please?
So in terms of the item recovery in general, right? There's been a lot of discussions in 24, which was, to be honest, very interesting for myself and the design team, mostly to read, was the different opinions about the item kiosk, right? And drawer, no drawer, access to inventory. I mean, this is still gonna go on, right? And now that we have at least one release done with the current system, but I'm not saying this is the final one at all. But that's one of the reasons for why the item kiosk exists also, right? Was to
have
basically
found a running compound yet?
give you guys access to get your items back, right? And so I don't want to say when the feature is actually going to drop because I don't really know.
I don't know if you might have
but I can
found
tell you that
actual working
adding
instance
all
of
those
jump
kiosks.
Hang on, we're watching ISC on Twitch. or SCL on
Okay.
Twitch at the moment. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll pop back in later.
All right.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's either half a session or it's not working at all. But I don't know. I don't have a definitive.
Getting them hooked up. This is and getting the actual recovery part. We had to take it out of 24 because obviously 24 had to go at some point, right? And there was more pressing, development and issues to solve with that. So we had to make that decision. But the actual kiosks themselves are already in there. I mean, you see that in the verse now, they're usable. And so that means that feature is in a good place now to be implemented and be added in the patch. I can't tell you which one, but I can tell you that we talk about that stuff all the time. About, hey, when are we going to close the loop on this? When is it going to land? Right?
That'd be massive. People would actually wear their pledge gear.
The database work too on the back ends, that's already ready to go. So it's really about, when can we get cycles from the game teams to get that in there? And I do agree that's for me is also a bit, that's a pet peeve of mine, like being able to get your items back, especially when they're unique, is super key. So
Yeah, I mean, I use the term pledge item recovery, but it's really unique item recovery. It's the thing.
Yeah, it's the ones that you only have one of and that are important. Now, that's it.
That you paid
There are
money
plans,
for, not that you have one of.
for how this is going to work for Star
Not all of
Citizen.
them. Keep it in
Not
mind.
just during the development, but as a whole, right? Because
Wait, what'd you say?
Not all of are paying money for.
I know, but I would rather us be able to, if we paid real money, be able to recall that, even if it has a cooldown. I don't care if you loot stuff in the game, then and you lose it, that's fine. It's a permadeath game. But if I paid,
Well, I'm not.
you know what I
I'm
mean?
saying that
It's a
there
full
are
loot
reputation
game.
Rewards.
There's what?
They have been reputation rewards that you have gotten.
Well, yeah, those two reputation rewards. Yeah, things bound to your account. I'm sure that would be bound to your account with reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Items. Which,
Yeah.
yes, you pay money for, but
And those unique. Yeah.
thing is unique items.
Yeah, I agree.
there's more, and we're going to discuss about this, I think, in Citizen Con a little bit with some of the things we're going to be showing, but there is a larger plan on how purchased items are going to work and how that ties up to the gameplay of the universe. And so there's going to be more updates on that for sure.
They're changing. Oh, I wonder.
But not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, unfortunately.
Okay. Last question is just sort of a personal one. We've been talking about a lot of tech stuff here today.
Yeah.
You and I go back 10 years now at this point. There was a time when I was one of the few people at CIG that interacted regularly day to day with the Turbulent folks. You've gone from founder and CTO of Turbulent. And the last time we had you on the show, we knew this transaction was happening, but we couldn't tell anybody yet. Which is why we talked a lot about the history of Turbulent in that show, by the way. Now that it's happened, and now that it's gone through, it's still going through, it has gone through, but the after effects, the repercussions of it are still happening. How's that been? How's that been for you? Going from CTO of Turbulent to CTO of all of CIG,
Sure.
to going from a web development platform to a full game development thing.
I mean, ultimately it's software, right? So for me, it's I'm a bit of a natural there. It's been a crazy ride for sure in the last year, going from I'm gonna use general numbers here, like 100, 150, maybe engineers in general, to the amount that we have at CIG and the different teams. The thing that I find the most satisfying is that we have so many incredibly talented engineers at CIG, like from our engine team, graphics, AI, audio, tools, R&D groups, gameplay teams, VFX programming, all these, our teams are so talented. It is crazy, right? And so it's really an honor to have the opportunity to try to make their lives better, right? Improve the internal processes that we have for our engineers, make sure they have career paths at CIG that they're fulfilled, that they work on things that matter, right? So one of the big roles of a
you wanna
CTO
do
is to make
the
sure that we're working on the right
figure
things,
out the
right?
FA
That we're
thing,
not,
or
you know, just developing and then hoping for a result, that we're actually driving for the results that we want, making the right calls across that. So for me, it's been very, very fulfilling. Also very difficult because my, you know, like the context switch is crazy, right? Going from all these subjects, right? But very, very fulfilling. And I'm so proud of the team that we have. Our engineering teams at CIG are best in class, right? They're really making miracles with smallish team, like in terms of the pure engineering teams, like making an engine, building the tech that we need for this game. I mean, the level of talent is really incredible. So it's been roughly almost a year now, you know, that I've picked up this role, and it's been only, you know, positive. It's also been really positive, I think, for the Turbulent family in general that joined in the CIG family overall. It's made communications easier. It's made our missions easier to communicate. You know, it allows also the cross-culture pollination, things that, you know, Turbulent do well, things that CIG do well. We try to get the best out of it, try to influence each other out of it into one big family. So it's been a really good ride so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really cool. Plus, I love this project. Like, you know, there's nothing more that I want than for this, for all of our tech to come together and then to really make this game the best thing that it can be. So it's for me, it's like I'm just ecstatic about it.
It's been nothing but positive. It's such a bullshit executive answer.
No, hang on.
There's-
Don't say that.
Oh shit.
What's been difficult is, if you want the downsides of it, is really catching up to speed to all the disciplines, right? Understanding the state of things to be able to make calls, right? So I mean, my people laugh here because at the office, you know, they lock me up in this office because I'm always on calls nonstop from like 8 a.m. to, like, I think the first time I get up during the day from my desk is at 2 p.m. and then, oh, well, I need to eat something, and then, you know, keep going, right? And so that's the part that's difficult. The intensity is really up there, right? Really, really up there. But at the same time, it's so, I feel like all these things really move the project forward, and so it's motivating. But it is hard on the day-to-day for sure.
All right. Well, Benoit, thank you for staying much
Very
longer
nice.
than
All good.
we
It's all good.
agreed.
I expected that.
I try to do the short shows every once in a while, but then I always pair the idea of the short show with the people who talk a lot, and it's just think I'd know better.
Well, yeah,
But I appreciate you sticking around. I'm going to let you go, folks. Thank you for watching. This has been Star Citizen Live. What did we call it? Tech Talk with Benoit Beauséjour.
oh my God, so good.
Do
Approved.
you want to know what my orange case is? Do you remember Fisher Price Constructs?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I
Shit.
got my whole collection.
Oh, is it
What?
the OG one too?
Yeah, it's the OG.
He waited the whole show to show that
I'm
off.
an engineer now too.
Got the constructs in it.
Yeah, I'm an engineer now.
That's
too.
hilarious.
I built.
That means I manage you.
If you haven't check out yesterday's Inside Star Citizen on creatures and characters. It's a show. Be sure you watch it, and then come back here next week. Next week on ISC, we finally pull the curtain fully back on the 2 new Zeuses that are now coming
Nice.
in a 324X patch.
Yeah,
It's X
sweet.
because we don't know if it's going to be 0.1 or 0.2 or whatnot. It's
It's not gonna be 0.1 if they're
the
already
new
talking about
MFT
0.1, right?
That's coming alongside it.
Yeah, I don't
the
think
new
so.
MFTs are super cool. And
Wait,
you're like,
repeat that
how
one,
can a
please.
new MFT be super cool? Check it out.
Do you hear what he
It's
said?
super cool.
I missed that for a moment. Sorry.
No, he said that he doesn't know if it's gonna be 321, 324.1 or 0.2 for the Zeus release. We said
Well, yeah, I
probably
know
not
that.
probably not
I know
0.1 because they're already talking about
I know
releasing 0.1 pretty soon.
Yeah, so point one's next week, hypothetically, right?
Yeah, and they're talking about the
Still
Zeus is
assume
next
point
Friday.
two, Yeah, I would still say 0.2 because
Yeah,
the
that's
two
what I'm
rolls
thinking.
fit together.
Yeah.
What is the
makes
Zeus?
sense. Zeus, I think it's gonna replace the Connie.
No, they're different size classes.
It's bigger, right?
No,
It's not bigger than the Connie?
no.
Oh.
Cool.
The ones that are
There's some
replacing the
no.
Cuddies? Oops.
You're not replacing anything. It's another option. But it's
I thought it was bigger than a Connie for some reason.
the Zeus. I pulled the Zeus MR for some reason, right? But the Zeus, they're all the same size. It's 46 meters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Connie's 61.
Mm.
Connie's
Interesting.
bigger.
I did not know that.
And the Taurus is cargo. Like the Taurus, that's like 190 cargo or something, right?
Yeah.
Damn, SCL has 128.
Gotcha.
So, like, the Zeus's are like Freelancer, Cutlass, Spirit, right? They're like that size.
Yeah.
They're that lineup. And
I'm
they
a
really,
yeah, go ahead.
I would say the CL replaces, and if you want to use the term it as, replaces the C1 Spirit a bit, but they hold different levels of cargo, and
Mm-hmm.
I think on different performances a bit. So it's kind of like, what type of cargo drop do you want with these two ships, right?
Yeah.
More so, in my mind, it makes the freelancer mats. It steps on that a lot
Freelancers. Gotcha.
because they're on the same exact cargo, and a freelancer mats are on the same size,
Mm-hmm.
and a freelancer mats does not have a tractor beam.
That's true.
So, yeah.
I'm letting finish his outro. It's got 20 seconds left. And then we discuss it. I'm at Babbage if you want your golden ticket.
Oh, I have to. Okay.
And I have some here, and I have some near Everest, near Lorville.
And then what do? You just need it in your inventory to do the purchase?
I'll explain it here in just a second. After we're done with this, we're almost there. I got you.
For that's Benoit. I'm Jared. Thanks for watching. Thanks for just letting me do what I do. We really thought yesterday's ISC might be the last one they let us publish. Keep your eye on the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website and Spectrum for news about the Tech Preview channel. If that hasn't started yet, it'll start when they're ready for it. And it's really important for the project and for everybody involved that we get as many people in there to stress this stuff as possible. So your participation is tremendously valued and appreciated if you can make the time to jump in there and help us out. So thanks a lot. I'm Jared. That was Benoit. I already did that part. That's Dave and Pete over there. You never see them. Say hi, guys. Okay. I'll see you next week, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Sweet. Oh my god, it's so loud. Turn that down. Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, it was for sure.
It was a really good episode. A lot of questions answered. That's good. Go back to over there.
What was it? Was there something talking about how paid ships or whatever on the store are changing, or
So they said they're going to talk about at CitizenCon the way paid items work in the game.
yeah,
Very
in terms
interesting.
of like recovery or something else?
No, they're going through fair. We're just watching that, and so I wanted to focus on that before I answered anything about another game. But what was I gonna say? No, that was a good one. I'm glad we learned that. Okay, yeah, they know what's wrong with their servers. They know what's going on. They're working on the fixes. Everything's in the works. That's reassuring. It was a reassuring episode. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much, at least in terms of them knowing what them knowing and verbally acknowledging, like one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say reassuring, but I think it is, not for me, but for a lot of people, it definitely is. Just this idea, like, hey, these weren't problems we had in PTU, and then I went to live, and suddenly we had all these problems, and it was like, yeah, like, like what I was saying previously, that they're just throwing people at it, not necessarily it's probably not fair to say they're throwing people at it, but the people that are in charge of that kind of content and that are related to that, it's all hands on deck because this is a huge problem.
Ah,
Um, and I do remember having a conversation with somebody about there being a bit of a numbers thing, right? Like you can't just go grab 100 developers and throw them all at it and expect they're somehow going to find the issues faster.
guys.
Yeah.
So, I'm not to go off topic here, right? But patch notes are out, okay? Yeah.
Hit me. Tell us about that here in a second, because I'm gonna put this up for a
Yeah.
YouTube video after we're done with the IC thing. Yeah.
I need an Evil Toddy right now.
What's an Evo?
What?
I need an Evil Toddy member right now, badly.
You need an Evo Cody member?
Yeah, I
badly?
need someone who is Evil Toddy to come with me to PTU, badly. So, sorry, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add about this, Grim? About SCL? Or yeah, SCL.
Well, one of the things that comes to mind is it's really cool that they were even working on server meshing the last time they did big numbers, that there was really good stuff. So that makes me even more excited for the fact that, that they're not even looking at it and saying, hey, well, we're going to try 200 and then 400 again. They're just like, we're going to try 800 straight out of the gate. We're going to see how much better it is versus the 800 we did and the 400 and everything else we did previously. Obviously, they've progressed a long time. Stan was, I believe Stan was a part of that big group.
I was part of the 200 player one, and it was fine.
I was part of the big group, I remember that.
I unfortunately never got to have that experience. I'm definitely hoping I get to be a part of the 800. All things considered, it shouldn't be a huge issue for me, but I'm very excited for that. It was very surprising to see them basically say, hey, there's this new thing. I don't remember the acronyms, is why I'm not using them, but it was like was it RMF and then NMF?
Yeah, NMF and then RMQ and then NMQ. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That basically they were essentially running 50-50.
Yeah.
And like that was kind of a surprise for me because it makes sense, but without them telling us, I don't think there's really an easy way for us to tell as players. Like, yeah, we get on a server, we're like, this is, sucks, right? The experience sucks. The frame rates are bad. It's, whatever, right? Maybe mission markers. Well, not mission markers because that's not fair. That was something else. But like, your ships aren't loading fast. The queues are terrible. Whatever, right?
The desync, like they brought up.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, you go onto this other server and suddenly nobody's seeing any problems. Like, that happens with us when we're all in chat. We're not always on the same servers. And somebody's like, I'm having no issues with this. It's like, I'm not going to join your server because that's not how my experience is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And to kind of come away and be like, okay, there's no insanity behind the fact that some people are having a really terrible server experience and some people are having a really good server experience. And it also makes sense why they would talk about it, because there are not even probably, guaranteed new players coming in, they're trying to experience the game, they're going on to these less effective servers, having a less enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Right? So being able to have them come out and say, hey, we are doing this split, and that players are going to be aware of that, so that, I'm not saying everybody does this. I am that kind of person. Somebody comes in and they complain about the state of the server or mission issues. I try to make them aware. And I always, try to advocate like, hey, if the server isn't, working for you, don't hesitate to hop to another server. Expand your friends list. A fair portion of my friend list is just people who are basically like, hey, server population can affect the server FPS. It's not always 100%. It's not a 1-for-1 for sure.
Yeah.
It's like people make networks because, hey, I know somebody that's reliably able to get into servers with 20 players. Oh, okay. Well, he's on my friends list, so I can hop in. Well, maybe that other player sees I'm in there and then hops in with me.
I've been that type for multiple people over.
Yeah, I have an array of people, and you do end up finding that, right? Like, you can get a core group of people that always.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm
have-
like, where's someone in 99 player servers? Let me in there.
Yeah,
The
but
more the better.
You also like
Merrier.
you like combat. You like being able to have interactions, and that,
Yeah.
you know, like that is kind of the trade-off, right? Like you.
It's gonna suck though when there's less servers and they're all 800 players. Though for you guys.
You know, I don't necessarily. If the performance is good enough, it's not an issue for me. I don't go to low pop servers because I like running.
Alone.
Like I never ran any material from Pickers or oh god, I always forget the other name. Repel, that's it.
Mhm.
I never did runs from Picker and Repel, even when I was on a server. I was on a server once with like 7 players. I still didn't do runs from Pickers or Repel because it just wasn't my gameplay.
And for me, I go to low pop once not to like play alone, right?
Mhm.
I just want a good damn server to work. That's all. You know, it really has nothing to do with playing with people or not. You know, now I'm more alone because most of my network and community is not playing right now.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to party up like lightning.
Mhm.
Well, you know, and it is important to find people that want to do the content that you're up to, right? Like that can be, for me, it's like I don't generally do PvP. Yeah, I'm fine hopping in a turret, but that's not always my slice of cake. And so, like, none of the other content right now, like I went and did salvage, and I found it maybe less satisfactory than I liked. I did mining and had a lot of fun, but mining is a lot of unsatisfactory in so much as like you only really get to do it for a short bit, and then you gotta go dump a load for a short bit, dump a load, you know. And it's like I want to be able to be a little more like a reclaimer and spend a little more time out there having a little more fun doing the activity rather than feeling like it's
Yeah.
I'm spending more time going to the station and doing things at the station than mining fields. Sorry about that, Griffin. I did kind of run over you there for a moment.
It's fine.
So what do you
Say again.
I was gonna say, what are your guys' feelings on what changes we should expect to see just in just kind of in the server space, not like individual, like just in general in a server? What do you expect we're gonna see that becomes different with, we'll say for imaginative purposes, that we're getting what server performance would be normally expected with 30 players, but let's say we're actually getting it at 800 players. What do you think we're going to see different as an experience?
I will answer that in a moment. I just want to say 2 comments quick.
Yeah.
1, Restless.
Mhm.
I did not go into detail locally, but check her DMs. I went into more detail with something I was saying. Second of all, so what I was saying about the PTU, I want to just like say this quick, and then I want to actually go like do a real conversation, right?
Yeah.
The Titan and the power loader shoot, right? They threw it in the build today in PTU.
I guess that's. Well, are we switching subjects off of SCL?
No, we will go back to SCL. I just want to see this. Like, this is kind of cool to share for a moment.
Okay, good.
Is that they threw it to the PTU build right now, but only Evo Connie can use it for testing. But it's not under NDA, so they say, like, you know, meet up with Evo Connie people in PTU and use it. So,
That's so weird. What?
I mean,
That's so
I
weird.
get it. It's so something not like a whole lot of people know about Evocati testing is that Evocati has the capacity to create and generate like objects for testing. So it's likely that they're like, you can't normally get the Titan, but that Evocati can spawn the Titan, and then they can test it, and that's probably so. There's probably no other
way to
say
do
this,
that.
no actual experience, but there's probably no system to be able to buy it or spawn it or to do anything like that, other than for an Evocati to do what we would consider like a command console spawn. I don't know how
Yeah.
they actually do it, but essentially doing that.
Also, here's something else weird about the mech suit, right? Based on the patch notes, you know who's the fucking company that makes it?
Drake.
Who?
Argo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would make sense.
That makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
I thought it'd be a great cat for some reason, but maybe because I was thinking Argo was orange, right? And like the
Yeah.
video we know it is yellow-ish. It doesn't look Argo really, but it's Argo, I guess. I guess Argo is not just orange anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. So back to the other question.
Also, I can't play PTU.
Yeah, I don't have it working for me right
It
now
says
yet either.
update, but
Copy-
I can't.
Copy your account
now
back
it
over.
could. No, now it worked. I don't know.
You know, that's a good point. I'll go take a look at that here in a minute.
I may try to recopy myself. But
Maybe
I
fair. Is it on Game Pass? It's on Game
On
Pass. I'll
PTU.
download it. No, I'm talking about. He's talking about AOE 4.
So, okay.
I want to try UE4.
Age of
That's
Empires.
so
Yeah,
fun.
like Age of Empires is
Yeah.
fun. It's fun to play a match here and
It's
there.
a fun game. Okay. So, but I didn't want to cut next year. But yeah, let's go back to SC live discussion.
Yeah. So, 800 players. What do you guys think? If we had the same server performance as like a 30-player server, just as an example, right? So, just reference for anybody that's watching this video that doesn't understand it. When you're playing on a server with 30 FPS, CIG is down tuning first-person AI because they will absolutely wreck players that have never experienced it, and even players who have experienced it. It's like night and day. You don't get any of that pause. You don't get any of the
Oh, no.
glitching.
And
They will rush
they
you.
They are all fucking Spartans.
Yeah.
From
I-
Halo, and like the Spartans from the book, not from the fucking game. Like they are.
I fought
They're
him
like fucking
before, and
super
it's just like
soldiers.
playing Halo on hard. I wouldn't call legendary or mythic, but
uh,
I've fought against them before. But I play a lot of first-person
I don't-
shooter games. I have.
yeah, but like on a really, really, really good server. Especially when you're outnumbered by them. When you're not too many of them, it's fine. But when you're outnumbered in a tight area,
Yeah.
but
Well, you're meant to lose in that
Yeah, yeah.
situation, basically.
Yeah.
I think
So,
that ties
800
into
people.
what I said before. Make them soft arms to zones, then your AI and guards and everything will be on point. Then you got nothing to be scared of, like our conversation the other day.
I'll be scared of everything. It's my choice.
I mean, if you're lawful.
You call it paranoia, but let's be honest.
Paranoia is one man's fear.
We don't have a ship in the hangar, do we, right now? That's fine. We don't need one.
I
We
did
don't need
not.
one.
I mean, if we're trying to just fly around into all the spaces we couldn't fit before, my recommendation is we can just go back to my Defender because it's a two-seater.
I'm gonna try
It's
and get
not-
Silas his golden
You're in New
ticket
Babbage,
here.
right?
Yeah. Is that where you're at?
Yeah. Just made
Me-
them my primary residence.
Will someone send Silas party invite?
I'm in PQ going to look at mechs, so no.
You're just begging. You're gonna be panhandling in global chat. Anyone got a Titan? Free Titan for me, please.
Well, that's yeah.
So is
So,
that
like,
is
but-
that gonna be in the one patch, the Titans probably? Why haven't we seen him on the store?
I have no.
Is it not for sale or just for testing right now?
And I don't think there could be the one patch if there'd be
No,
the
I
one
know.
patch if everyone was able to actually spawn them normally. You know, but the fact that what Grim said, right? Evil Connie testers most likely utilizing some command to spawn them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They most likely are doing some sort of early sneak peek testing of it, right?
Why would-
And it will be properly implemented for Zikon in a few weeks. Which again, is not that far away, you know.
I know it. I'll be there. I'm counting the days.
You know, like if it's out, you know, like 5 weeks from now compared to like 2 weeks from now or next week, is that really a big deal? Like, no. It'd be cool if it came like next week, but it's not a big problem.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's cool.
What? I'll be at the
So
garages,
my work-
or I'll come into the hangars area.
My work sent me a phone because I have a really old one, and it's way out of date. So they sent me a phone, but it's an old phone, and they said, "Here, take it, keep it, whatever."
Not even.
No.
And I went to download Slack because I need it for work. And my phone is too old to download Slack.
Hey, by the way, do you guys want me to stream this?
Stream
If
what?
you see a mech, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I hopped in a PTU, right? If you want to pick an Evo. So we're now having a party, I think, in a heater about this. But first, I'm gonna turn the party clothes on.
Heck yeah. So do you guys? How much do you think things are gonna change with 800 people?
Changes everything.
That's-
There's gonna be a lot more PvP.
We have to remake friends, don't we?
No, you should have your friends list.
Okay.
Ah, just touching
Ooh,
the tip.
do you think they'll make the friends list bigger? I know there's currently a number cap on it.
Yes,
They would really have to because
I would think so actually. I didn't even think of that, but most likely, yes.
what is the cap right now on that? 200?
No, I know Stan is like 800 people allegedly. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Okay.
Man,
So it's like
maybe 1,000.
Alright, I'm gonna go give him this golden ticket. I think I have one here.
I can see 1,000 people.
yeah, they're definitely gonna have to increase. I would not be surprised if they pushed it to 2,000 on a server with 800. Like if that becomes the consistent, yeah, they're gonna need way more than just 1,000.
have they
'Cause you're gonna-
increased the amount you could have in a server?
Not yet.
What? Current cap is 100. If you're talking about population max.
Yeah.
Yeah, current count is 100. I swear to God, I was on a server once that was like 110 or something like that, which I thought was really unusual. But yeah,
I'm coming
it's,
inside now, Silas.
It's reaching 100. What are they gonna do with the 800 test tonight? Or not tonight? Excuse me. That was confirmed for not tonight, right?
Yeah.
Brooklyn?
I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I think.
Hey, there's an A2 sitting out here in his ramps down if we want to steal it.
You know, I don't think I'm up for that activity today. I like not having a crime stat currently, so
Let me see if it belongs to anybody right now.
how do you test it? Okay, that's a question I had, is how do you test if it belongs to somebody or not?
Walk inside, yeah. Trespassing.
So does it cease belonging to
It's just
them
a
if they log
C2, or
off?
is this an M2? Yeah, it's just if it says private property, it means they haven't claimed it.
Did you hold on. But did you bag in
Oh my god, the amount of people.
I know.
Did I what?
You begged in global chat to see that Titan suit, didn't you?
No, not honestly. Everyone that was asking about it. And Evo
Wait, you can
said,
see
I'm
it?
Evo.
Let me
I'm
see.
Evo. I'm Evo. And now we're making parties free city.
Heck yes.
Have you
That
seen
kinda
it yet?
reminds me I could-
No, they're testing to put it out. I'm just with a ton of other people. We're all going to see it right now.
Okay. Whenever they see it, I'll throw it on my chat to see.
I think my game can lag out for me because I'm trying to do the download at the same time on my internet connection. It's not a Goldilocks situation. Welcome back, Stan. You missed the entire show.
Stan. No, Stan.
Well, you'll never guess what happened on my end. I have a new show for you guys, but go ahead.
I'm going to show you the new mech. The
Oh,
power
yeah,
loader.
Yeah, show me.
I'm going to show you in a few minutes and we need to get to it. Evo, the Evo tester is about to pull it out.
Yeah, I've been I'm just gonna show you what I've been working on. But go ahead, you guys.
Yeah,
Where you
I-
at, Silas?
built
Hang on,
one
let me get him
to
this
it.
golden ticket. He's been waiting for this for a minute.
I don't know if you've noticed who all those folks I was talking to down there were, but don't worry, that's gonna come up later.
Where you at, Silas?
I'm exiting.
Oh, dang. It's actually going fast.
Hang on, are we live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, are we in combat comms?
No, but I'm trying to
No,
get Silas a
no.
golden ticket at the moment.
Combat comms. Are we going
That's
into any of those
apartment,
situations?
do you want me to meet you like in the train?
I'll just type it.
I'm
I'm
next
gonna-
to the fleet managers right now.
Okay, yeah.
You're not in my server, probably. You probably have to leave and then come into my server.
Nah, I already did that.
Okay.
Guys, it's
Yeah.
coming.
What?
The mech, I think.
Yeah.
Spaceport, right?
Yeah.
The spaceport.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the sticks later.
Oh, luck.
Yeah, I can walk you through all of them. All you basically need is the shoot, land, take off, landing gear.
I mean, there was like flares and all that stuff that we did as well.
Yeah.
Last time, I should have took a picture of them.
Yeah, like that.
Guys,
Choir, Sonic, Carson music in the background.
right there.
Things coming up.
Where?
Workman screen.
I'm looking. I don't see any. I see an 890.
No,
Wrong
Brooke
I'm
has
screen.
looking at
screen.
breakfast stream.
You're looking at mine.
Yeah.
Here, zoom in.
Are you gonna
Here,
run
go
over there, Brooklyn?
go up to it. Go up there. What are you doing?
I was like, you didn't even have to wait. Like, you can just jump down there if you don't mind. A minor
Yeah,
injury.
no, I'm not going to survive that. And I bet the default color is orange.
Oh shit.
Let me guess. Tractor beam.
Yeah, tractor beam.
1000%. What's the other one?
Hopefully you can punch people with it.
Also, my friend, I know.
Yep. Tractor beam, and then I'm wondering what's in the right hand.
Brooklyn, go back. Go back. Go back.
Yep.
Trying to get a picture of it.
I just took a photo myself, so yeah, but yeah.
And boom, got it. That's cool. So yeah, I knew it. Yeah, that is gonna be
Excuse
how they
me.
expect us to do cargo.
Yep.
Pull up. Hey,
no.
Brookvin. See. Oh, you see if you can pull something up out of the cargo elevator.
This is my inner.
You can pull cargo up in any hangar.
That's
Part
what
of-
I'll
part-
be doing it.
Part of the concern is that basically when people run into your hangar, if they're like, you know, they're illegal. If you pull cargo up and they run
Well,
to the
no one
tunnels and
illegal
send
can go
it
in your
down,
hangar.
The long term, and I understand that they changed that for right now. That will guarantee changing in the future. But right now, the idea is that you could run to that while someone's bringing up cargo and then push the cargo back down.
Where you at, Silas?
So that's what they're doing right now. Is they're bringing up something to be grabbed.
Coming.
Oh, a module.
What the hell is that?
That's a torpedo module for the retaliator.
It looked like a boat for a second.
And it kind of does. I'm not so classy. Grab that with the
See if you can
mod.
send him
Ah,
down
yeah,
the cargo
hey.
elevator. Go try and store him.
No,
No,
You can store people.
I don't know.
we're not going
no,
to
you
fuck with
can't
them.
store people.
We
I
want to
would.
see how the mech works. That's the goal right now.
Okay, so that's what that is. What does the other one do?
You can traffic players. Just kidding.
Not yet.
I'm at the fleet manager. Where you at?
Are you?
Where did the people
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
from?
right here.
They pulled it out of that mess that
So
they
you
brought
take
up
this.
and threw it.
Yes, yeah.
Pick that up. And bring it over here.
I got a golden ticket.
And turn it in here.
I
Just
need to- I need
now
to
with it in your
put in
hand,
one of
click
mine.
on this thing. Alright, it should have used it, right?
Meet me at. Wait,
Did you get a little pop up on your screen?
yeah, on a Friday.
Hang on, give me comms for a second.
Yeah.
Up, clear comms.
What'd you say, Silas?
So it's a rental or can you?
Did any pop up happen on your screen when you clicked on it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good.
Like
So
half
now if
it
you
off
go
the
back
screen.
into the pledge store, you'll have an opportunity to buy that fate.
Oh, okay.
And you have a free rental of it for 24 hours. Okay, y'all can go ahead. My bad.
So I'm gonna hop the PTO.
All right.
Okay.
You did join
No,
my
don't be
server.
sorry. Okay.
Friday.
Yeah, bro, I'm on my way.
Is this a? Is this one of those 800 pops?
Nope.
No.
Not tech preview. This
No.
is
I think they said something that about it possibly not being tonight.
This is a 324.1 patch for bug fixing, and apparently to test out the Titan suit, or Titan kind of Atlas suit.
Ooh,
The
block
night
it.
thing.
Brookfin, I have one request. Can you do me a big favor?
But, if I could do it, sure, ask what it is first.
Please ask him if he can go into a ship and then drop from orbit and see if he survives.
I will ask him later, after we try to talk more. But I will
Yeah.
ask that.
That doesn't have to be asked right away. My current answer is probably guaranteed.
No. That's something I need to know, and I need to verify.
Live has an
I don't
update
say
too.
this.
Oh,
The
God.
hot fits.
I must have done it earlier.
It just popped up for me, and we've been in the game. Oh, you must have done it before you joined. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
5 gig update. Okay.
Now, here's something else that this just told me about the Mac. You ready?
Yeah.
It is orange after all, right? But we've all been seeing it as yellow. So the yellow is a viable paint.
That's likely the way that it is. You gonna hop in it? Oh, one other person.
Sounds like someone else vote for it. Yeah. Would make sense because that'll be the color from Aliens, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna milk the alien paint. You know,
I mean,
knowing people will buy the yellow to look like that.
I
make
would.
sense.
I mean, I think it's unfair to call it milking, personally.
No, they're
Oh, yeah,
totally
yeah.
they're totally milking you out. They in the trailer they flat out quoted that the loader scene. They said, "Where do you want?" And I'm all there. I support it. We need more of that shit.
I'll give $3 for a yellow or $5 for a yellow paint to look like the alien rocker. I don't mind that. But yeah.
I want to know what that other hand is for.
It's for beating stuff.
I know it's for me when I need to deal with wrestlers.
That's funny.
Now I wonder.
Selling
Right.
mech
I
suit
have to be
selling
able to
for
catch it.
$150 in the pledge
Yeah.
store.
This really does give a good amount of actual interesting contest stuff here. Of
Oops.
I
No.
wonder how much this is in general, right?
Yeah,
What's the
probably
other side?
30 to 50.
I would imagine.
Now, is
that.
there a way that I can get a like a cheaper
Yeah, I'm still
game
gonna say it.
package?
Yeah, you'd have to
What
melt
are
your
you
current
looking
game
for?
package and just buy the cheapest one available right now. With the
And then
trade in.
and then use the trade value towards.
Then then use the other stuff for F8. Yep.
Right now, the
Yes.
F8 isn't very good. You said, right?
I
Hey,
love it.
guys, you
That's all I
noticed-
use.
Did you notice something with this? I hopped in. My character actually pressed all the buttons to turn it on.
Look at that.
Yep. Yeah. Actually,
Now
there's
I need a
another ship you get into where that happens.
Press B, V, all that stuff. See if anything changes. You know, B,
Well,
V,
do Alt F
M.
first or whatever it is that brings up action menu.
Actions.
Hang on, I'm coming in. I'm coming to the PTU. This is something that would draw me to the PTU. I'm coming.
It turns out my update's not quite done for the PTU. I got it.
That's
Okay,
going
Sorry,
right
I'm-
now.
this is someone else's scanner, so we'd have to go to another person maybe eventually. But
You know what I want to see?
I need to do the test.
I want to see
need
if that fits in an elevator. It doesn't look like it, just based on and I'm not talking the cargo elevator. I'm talking about the normal elevators.
how far is this? You want to see?
That's as fast as that thing goes.
I'm also going in circles.
Does it go faster if you press shift? Yeah.
I think
Ooh.
so.
Are you? Is it affected by the scroll wheel?
I'm sorry.
scrolling Up.
I'm sorry. I have to say it.
I'm
Get away
scrolling
from
up.
her, you bitch.
Does it look like it went faster?
No.
No.
What were you up to anyway, Stan? I
Yeah,
didn't forget
now-
about that.
It's going faster.
This.
What?
So sprinting does
I can
make it go
use
faster.
this pledge whenever.
You need to
right?
see this actually.
I mean, this golden ticket, or do I have to do it now?
I'm gonna make this public later. But you need to see this first.
So here's another thing, the tractor beam, right?
Yeah.
Or can I
Rest of
do?
this, but do not read what I'm gonna send you unless
Alright.
like if don't read it if you're doing anything. Like
Sure.
you're gonna need a minute to sit down for.
The tractor beam works differently. The tractor beam just pulls it to me.
So you don't get any of the tractor beam controls?
Not really. It does like it's a full on tractor beam. Like that pulls.
1000% that will change.
I'm curious about that because I don't see a full need to for what it's supposed to do.
Are you in Babbage?
Like,
Well,
because
how are you gonna make it work like a normal tractor beam then?
but think about it. If you're supposed to carry a heavy box, right? Let's build the situation here, right?
Yeah.
You can build a heavy box, right? All you have to do is bring it to you, and you can rotate it, right? But you can walk it over to the ship and place it to the grid, and boom, done.
You want to let them know you're trying to see if it'll actually stand inside
Yeah, I
the
will do that
elevator.
right now.
Come.
Are you in Babbage, Brooke?
Yeah.
No, I'm at Orson.
Oh, no, that's right. You're on Orson. Sorry. Dude, you're going to want to do an external view because I'm like 99% sure it's not going to. Nope.
Can you crouch?
No, you're just too tall. Ooh. I doubt it.
Nah, that's it. That's it.
Can you move it with a tractor beam? Because it folds up like a little ball, and then you can probably fit it on an elevator.
Are you able to get the F8 like executive or no?
If you spend like 15K.
Oh.
But the F8 is getting a paint. It won Best in Show, so it's going to get a paint this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I 1000%. It's gonna act like a normal tractor beam. I know it doesn't right now, but long term it definitely will. 'Cause
I'm not
otherwise,
convinced.
To
well,
take
it's-
advantage of buying the F8,
what's the point
I
of
don't
it
have.
then?
I can wait, right?
It
I can
will
do
still
stream
be-
today.
I would
But
get it and
if-
put it in your buyback at least.
If the multi tools and the tractor beam gun have, less ability, right?
Yeah.
Then this can carry a large cargo without using a ship tractor beam, Like, this is essentially a ship tractor beam on it. Oh.
Yeah, but it's like
one sec.
given the walk speed. Given the walk speed of the thing, it's definitely not. I don't know. I don't see it as justified without having an actual functioning tractor beam like the other ones, like the other ones are.
Oops, I don't know what I was doing there.
Stand back.
The cheapest game package is probably the Aura, right? $25.
If it's a game package, make sure it's a game package. Okay, it's got into a party. I'm gonna go check one out right now. Yeah,
They
we're
say
here.
starter pack, right?
Oh, he's all the way
That's
up
the
at
thing,
Babbage.
or-
Yeah, I think it's like an Aurora will be your cheapest one.
or the Mustang.
Alright, so I guess the idea works like this, right? It pulls because it automatically pulls to me. I don't think that is interesting. So that's how it works. See?
Okay. All right. That's the part that I didn't see.
So I guess that's how it
Nomad,
works.
So it works essentially like how we do it with placing bottles and stuff like that, right? Like when we're getting rid of our Clear Lux after we're done drinking it.
Yeah.
We do place and then it just looks at a point and we dump it. Interesting. That does. Now, I'm assuming you should still be able to do cargo plating and stuff like that, right? So it'll still lock the cargo.
Yeah, I'm assuming I do that, right? And as I move it over, right, it will
Yeah, it'll still lock it.
like
cargo
show
plates.
grid and stuff, right? I would assume. But yeah, it just works it's a different type of tractor PMI test that works a little differently.
Yeah, that's kind
Because
of. I can see.
it programmed in a unique way from the looks of it.
You're gonna see people getting killed by this. God, I can't wait.
There's
to see this
someone
video.
pissed off in my chat that he can't call it. That he has to go through Evo.
Did he have to do what?
Has to go
That
through
he has to go
Evo.
through
He's
Evo.
yeah, he's so upset.
Then he has to what?
Go through
through
Evo to
Evo.
try one. To try one. He's
Check it
so
out.
upset. He's so buttered about it.
What is?
Well,
how do
you
you?
know-
Wait. So what do you mean? How do you try one?
He's like, I think
Yeah.
it's such a huge oversight. I do contribute. I just don't want
Why-
testing to be my
I'm
whole
so-
lobby. It's like, wait,
Bro, I'm so confused.
All right.
What is
hold
it?
on.
Why do you?
Hold on. Okay, so the only way that you can get the mechs, and the only way you can get the suits right now is an Evo Kadi person has to spawn it.
No.
And so that, like it's not up in the market. There's like no other way to do it currently. Or they're just doing it because they want to. Maybe they're just doing it from a technical standpoint. Like they're like, hey, this is already set up for Evo Kadi to test. Maybe we just shift this over to PTU. Evo Kadi can spawn it. PTU players are going to jump in and mess around with it. Does that make sense? Like they're almost skipping the Evo Kadi stage, but as though it was Evo Kadi doing it.
There is another aspect to this, right? And it's a very simple one. All right.
Yeah.
It builds it hype, but this is a form of marketing.
Oh
They
yeah.
know
Absolutely.
people are excited for this. This will come at SitCon, I'm assuming at this point, right?
Yeah.
unless I can put a gun on it, I'm not buying one.
Unless what? God,
Unless I
You
can put a gun on
it, he's not buying it.
you
Yeah.
know, you can be kind of violent sometimes, my friend.
it. What? Oh, I could be kind of violent.
All the guns, I'll need a gun.
I'm a PvPer. That's the thing. That's my game. Cargo's not my gameplay loop.
How do you
Yeah,
add?
man likes to fight.
How do you add melted money?
How do you what? Oh, on the right side.
On the right side.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and it'll tell you how
sure.
much you can add.
Oh,
No,
there
you-
it is. Okay.
But this is absolutely for marketing. They're building this up for SitCon, and this will be on sale during SitCon, I'm assuming.
I wouldn't be shocked if they give us little things to keep us happy because everybody's pissed off about Pyro being pushed back. Everybody's so upset, and everybody's asking, well, what are we going to get in between? I bet you that... Oh, well, yeah, I can see that because it's a month away.
It's just partly that.
I bet you the Zeuses and this, they'll feed us
Yes.
these here and there. That's what
The
they'll do.
MFD we work.
The what?
That is coming now. The MFD we work.
Hmm.
That possibly now it sounds like will be coming out of 4.0, right? They'll
Yeah.
rip it out of 4.0. It sounds like they will put, from what I'm gathering, right? What they can put that is not completely dependent on meshing, from 4.0 into 3.24.h patches, if they can. So they could bring some of that stuff earlier, closer to the time we were hoping for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the big Kahuna stuff like meshing and pyro, when that stuff's ready with the tech and it's tested enough, then they will bring that in, hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, part of doing the 800 test is related to that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, here's the other thing, right? That I'm interested about. There's supposed to be 3 variants of this thing.
Right?
That we mentioned in the past. A cargo one, right? That we're seeing.
And the military one.
No, there's other 2 more.
Oh.
Well, that may just be for squadron, who knows? But there's 3 non-combat, like in full-on industrial ones, right? A cargo one, a mighty one, and a salvager. And I'm curious if we see all 3 at all, or if we just see the cargo one for now.
Okay, I got that right now.
And now here's the other fact that's interesting, right? While the Titan suit itself may be heavily modified of this, like the narrative team would make that this is the original version, right? And the military heavily modified it into a combat suit, right? Then how much bigger the Titan should compare to this? I'm assuming not by much.
I'm not even gonna say what I'm being able to do in this PTU patch right now. I'm able to
You
go
got
in
me.
everybody at Orson. I can go into everyone's hangar.
Yeah, see right there. Grim, do you see that?
Hold on, let me rewatch your stream.
Wait,
Ah,
Give me
I
just a
think that.
second.
oh,
So, if I get into the PTU and I
Oh,
get
he
to
left
you,
and kicked you guys out, right?
I'm not sure. I think we all got kicked.
What is happening?
Yeah, I got. So what was happening though, right? I'm moving the silhouette of it over cargo grid space, right? And it showed me the blue cargo grid snapping on. So that's how that worked.
I'm not in my hangar and I'm watching somebody. Oh, I'm in someone else's hangar. I fell. No. I survived that fall. I survived the fall into an extra large hangar.
Are you saying you drop down to the bottom of the elevator?
Yeah, the entire fall. I'm at a mech
Yeah,
right
the
now.
entire fall doesn't kill you.
I have Sunday off. If you want to do the 6th then.
Yeah. Why is there a mech in this hangar and I'm in here all alone? No one's in this hangar with me. What is
Wait, are you in a
happening?
PTU now?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Orson. I
Roger,
so I was able to click on anybody that's here's hangar and go in. I went into someone's and no one's in it, but a mech just spawned for me. No one's in here but me. It's a ghost. Can I hit it? I can't. Change the name of my stream to I'm in a mech.
Oh, you're not at my server, I think, right?
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to menu and I'm going to invite send both of you guys friend requests. Okay. I'll try to join your servers.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to join mine, you can pop in here with me.
Apparently.
There's no difference in speed when you hold shift.
Yeah, I didn't really think I was made any difference in speed. Didn't really feel like it. Grim.
Yeah.
I don't see you guys at PTU.
Hold on.
I
I'm exiting back out to menu. Apparently,
Right.
finding me is an annoying thing.
Right, you have to hop back to menu first, right?
Well, I am, yes.
Also, the page got leaked for. Actually, you know what? Well, I don't know. I could say that maybe the thing does come next week, because the fact the page are all now here, maybe, but I'm still not fully convinced.
Yeah, you know what? I would say there's no guarantee.
I agree with that. I think honestly, the fact that being trying to files now, it could come next week or it could come for SitCon. But I say by SitCon, right? It does come.
I don't know how I got in your
Hey,
hangar, bro. Yo.
Like by
We can't join you until you expect menu.
Yeah, it's
Because I'm typing your name in and I don't have nothing. Which is weird. Oh, there you are. There you are.
I got that friend request. Come on in.
Solid on my way. Live now, Jumptown Wars in general. I don't think that's what we're up to right now.
God. No, fucking SFer. When SFer says something that you have also said, that's a little unnerving.
Okay, no, not Grim. Grim, check join your server.
Yes, I'm on Restless server.
Join your server.
Everest blockade runners needed.
Are you in my lobby, Grim?
Yes, you should be able to send me a party invite. Yeah, I see you're in chat.
Alright, I'm in the server.
You're in Orison, Grim?
Yeah.
We both are.
There you go. We're not in
That's
my
where you said
hangar.
you
We're
were at.
in, like, Raven's hangar, I think?
You can go check the elevator panel and it'll tell you.
Wait, Raven who?
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
You're definitely not in my
Oh,
hangar.
no.
It's a random hangar.
Storm Raven.
Not my Raven.
Yeah, we're in Storm Raven's hangar, I believe. Let me go double check.
Ooh, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're in Storm Raven.
So, 101 needs an invite.
Are you at a party? Are you at a party with Storm Raven?
Yeah.
Ask
Just
for
say in chat, or you asked for this next one, Grim, because I've asked for like 3 for these people.
Wait, do the what? What?
Say, can you send Brooklyn one? In our
Yeah.
in party chat. And I said spawn like 5 of them? Why not? The recall's gotta be quick.
I mean, some people say they're disappointed by it.
Say again?
I've seen some people claim they're disappointed by it. Like, they thought it'd be bigger or something. I guess.
I thought it was gonna be much bigger. I thought it was
Because
gonna be
much.
a mech suit that you get in, like a mech suit, like
Oh, yeah.
bigger than Matrix. But that's just what I thought from what I saw of it, not like some video.
Don't we get in it? Don't we get in it?
Yeah, but he's talking full enclosure.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was gonna be.
I kind of hoping not, thinking not, but well, actually, no, I wasn't thinking that because not after I saw the 324 trailer, right? Because we could see the cap of it, so like you can see there's opening there.
I have an extra large, and I fucking love it.
I know, I do too.
that feeling.
I will say this. One of the reasons I don't, I think the suit needs to be able to be swapped because the placing system does not work, as far as I can tell, if you're trying to drop it in open space.
No.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
So, how does the current play system work if I'm trying to drop a bottle in a certain place in space?
Oh,
I have no point reference. So my curiosity is, maybe my concern, how does it work in open space? Does it run into the problem where, since it has no...
oh, I see what you're thinking. That's a very good question.
Everybody off the pad?
No.
Make sure that thing's off the pad.
No, he needs the crates moved. Okay, hold on.
He's like, hold on, let me get in this mech. I've used this 100 times.
It's right click, right?
No.
Brookfin?
Left click.
No, it's left. It's weird how it works. It pulls it to you, and then you gotta look at the ground and rotate it and move it like that. That it shoots that away from you.
I don't hate the control though. It kind of feels
It's not
more
bad.
comfortable than
I like that it's close to you. It's not smashing into walls, and you can just look where you want to set it.
Same
I'm
here.
not upset about that.
Yeah.
That looks nice. It feels nice.
Well, you
like
can
that.
then walk with it if you want to. You know, like you can walk and stay in a centered position.
People are putting clothes on. I'm gonna go put my snobby clothes on.
I got my worker clothes on since you have a Mac.
Welcome to
Thank
the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Pop on a monocle just because we're that guy.
Can I hop in, please, guys?
He's about to call like 5 of them. He's gonna call them up and we're gonna pull them off one by one.
I think
No, he's pulling his ship.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was calling more.
Vehicle has been delivered. Following these visitors again.
Oh,
Where's my poster? There it is. There we go. Now I'll walk around.
look at this. Look at this goon right here. How did you... Did you just have that as a pre-saved in PTU, or was that just a random?
Who, me?
Me?
Yeah, you, Restless.
I make the same guy every time.
How do you load it? I have a save guide on live, and I tried to make a save guide on PATU, and it didn't work. So how'd you make that work?
I've made this guy so many times because I always like remake my test character all the time. And so I can make him about 20 seconds. I can make this guy.
Hobo?
Yeah, the murder hobo, yeah, with blood in his hair. Yep.
I made a really weird character this time. Oh wait, you probably saw him, right?
Oh, I didn't know he had a helmet on. I didn't pay any attention.
Oh. Is there a way to do LFGs on Steam?
What are you thinking?
LFG, I don't think so.
I need to get the black and whites. I prefer that look over the other ones. Alright, here we go. Damn, I forget how fast they are. I just hopped into it.
I'm the foreman.
I need a photo of that. Wait. Stay put. I want a photo. So I did a picture of that.
Oh, whoa. Hold up. Am I streaming? Give me a sec. I'm gonna stream again. It works if you do a Z look. So I'm gonna test to see if it works. Let me know if you're watching.
A
the
Z look.
stream.
What do you mean? What are you trying to do?
So you know how you can hold Z, and if you hold Z, you don't actually you only turn your head.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Ah.
Come take a look at my. So like right where you're at right now, I'm gonna drop it right in front of RWX.
It can be used as a weapon.
I know it can be, but so like hold on, check this.
Oh, you missed me.
But that like essentially wherever your head is looking is where this is actually gonna target for the landing.
Can you walk over me?
Yeah, if you run in front of me. Oh, interesting. So it has a defined range.
Interesting.
If you try to reach beyond the range,
you know what else is interesting? It has no light.
Really? Good call.
I try not unless I missed it. I don't see a light on that thing. So if you're like full of darkness somewhere.
okay, where's that other crate?
Good call. Do you mind if I call it out in global? Because I'm sure there's devs around. Or do you want to do it?
Yeah, you do it. Like, not that it doesn't fully absolutely needs a light bar. We're supposed to, like, it should have a light bar, obviously, but like, where it's supposed to work, right? It should be like a factory or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, this
Like
is something
here,
if you're running cargo, period, this is something you put on your ship.
Yeah, actually, and it also should be like it'll be used
Tell me
in
that I almost hit you.
like outside of distribution center.
Hit
it
T,
could be
hit T,
like
Grim.
work.
Someone said it had a spotlight.
It does have a spotlight. All right, try that. It does.
No, I think it's the helmet.
Well, that's interesting. So I guess that's your light when you're that's your helmet light.
Ice.
All right.
So what about put it to the cargo credit? Try that. It doesn't load up to see
Oh.
a tiny bit.
Oh yeah, okay. This angle's bad for doing it because I can't see past the crate.
Right.
That's my only problem with it. But yes, it will actually work on the cargo plate.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
like something really cool. So watch, right? I'm all the way up here.
Right.
Let's see if I can't angle it past Russ. Let's see if I can hit him with it. I'm literally pushing it all the way to the cargo plate.
That is cool. I actually really like the track beam mechanic with this thing.
Yeah.
So
And
you-
now it's, so it gives an option, it pulls it back.
Hello.
Hello. So you were asking why use this thing over track beam gun, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the more that we test it, it becomes clearer what does and doesn't work.
It's more powerful. Also, here's another thing that we haven't even thought of or talked about yet, right?
I think the range on this is like 150.
There's something else to talk about, though.
Right?
It will last much longer. Like, the track beam gun is so full of batteries and ammo, right? The multi-tool, as I heard Astropub say yesterday, or video made yesterday, heard it this morning, that the multi-tool to track beam attachment, right, will not have a lot of life in it. But we actually have resources and, wear and tear and all that stuff, right? Like the multi-tool tractor beam will be for emergency situations and very light cargo in a short matter. The track beam gun would be like for like most of the boxes in a slow matter. And then this thing can handle all type of freight, I would imagine. Last much longer because it's an actual vehicle, right? With the proper power unit and everything else. And with, I'm assuming, a track beam on par with the ship track beam. Or around that.
It's good.
You know?
Now what I want to see is if I walk off a ledge. No damage. Restless, don't move. I'm using you as a distance marker.
So, something else.
What's up?
Someone in pipeline just tried a test, I guess. They said it does not work as 0G.
What?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because it has no thrusters. Like, it doesn't reach out in 0G, or just it doesn't work if it's in 0G?
All the comments said it does not work as 0G.
Okay, but what about if you're at the height of atmosphere?
Like, and now that when you're in atmosphere, sure, like that can land, right? But actually doing a job as like pulling cargo, or like maneuvering in a 0G environment with no gravity, because of what Grim said, no thrusters, I imagine, right? It can't actually move in 0G. And maybe without a track to be operate, it can't actually place stuff in 0G. Who knows? Point is, in a zero G environment, I imagine you'll be wanting to utilize your ship track beam instead of this thing. I would imagine. So what do we think the second hand is for on the left side?
I don't know.
Is that just like a magnet? To like keep the thing nearby you?